April 7th of each year marks a celebration of World Health Day. In this context of this day, we aim to create awareness on some important health issues as advanced biology students. You will find short informative videos about psychiatric disorders in the following part.
Borderline personality disorder is a mental illness that makes it hard for a person to feel comfortable in themselves and has an ongoing pattern of varying moods, self-image, and behavior. Although there are many symptoms that could be listed for this disorder, the most common and known ones are intense fear of abandonment, such as going to extreme measures to avoid real or imagined separation or rejection, and also intense unstable relationships, such as idealizing someone one moment and suddenly believing that the exact person isn't worth anyone's time. Diagnosis typically starts with interviews, completing questionnaires made by or given to you by doctors and psychiatrists, discussions of the symptoms, and lastly, and most importantly, MRI scans, which is a technique that helps form pictures of the anatomy and the psychological processes of the body. The treatment varies for each case, so it is very personalized, but the most common treatment way is psychotherapy, which is talking with a mental health provider or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Then, if that's not effective 100%, a medication, but then a medication can only be given if the person also has another associated mental health condition, such as depression or bipolar disorder, and so on. Lastly, if none is effective, the last resort is hospitalization to make sure that they keep you safe from self-injury. On behalf of World Health Day, don't forget that early diagnosis saves lives. If you or someone you know may seem like they're struggling with this disorder, don't postpone the reaching out process. Take action immediately.
Hi everyone, I'm Mina and today I'll be talking about ADHD. ADHD is a neurological disorder that affects parts of the brain that help planning, focusing, and executing tasks. ADHD also has three types, which are inattentive, which is an ability to pay attention and focus, hyperactive, not being able to stand still, and combined, which is a combination of the two. There are many symptoms of ADHD, but here I'll be focusing on combined ADHD symptoms. These include not paying attention, problems staying focused, not listening when spoken to, fidgeting with hands, not being able to stand still, and running about at inappropriate times. Unfortunately, there is no lab test to accurately diagnose ADHD, but a number of evaluations must be completed. These include interviews with the patient and the patient's parents, teachers, friends, and etc. Medical evaluation is also important to rule out any other conditions. Treatment for ADHD include a variety of methods. These include behavioral therapy, medication, which divides into stimulants and non-stimulants, parenting, and antidepressants. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, today I will be presenting to you about postpartum depression. So postpartum depression is a type of mood disorder that's associated with childbirth that is very commonly seen amongst new mothers, and most new mothers do experience something called baby blues. However, postpartum depression is a much more clinical and severe version of that and will last longer. And even sometimes when postpartum depression is not treated, it might develop into something like psychosis, which is obviously very dangerous. Therefore, it's very important that the patients do get diagnosed, and patients get diagnosed on the basis of these symptoms that are diagnosed by psychiatrists and therapists. So these symptoms include stuff like severe mood swings, insomnia, hypersomnia. The mothers might get very irritable and cry very fast and easily. They might withdraw from those around them. They might feel unworthy of being a mother and hopeless about their situation, or even thoughts of harming themselves or their baby, which at that case, they really need to get help because it puts their lives and their baby's lives in danger. And PPD is usually treated just in the same way that normal depression is treated, through cognitive behavioral therapy, interpersonal therapy, and medication. For medication, antidepressants such as fluoxetine and SSRIs are really common. But for cognitive behavioral therapy and interpersonal therapy, one difference would be that there would be more of an emphasis on the motherhood and the mother's situation when the therapist or psychiatrist is talking to them. And a lot of women do experience PPD. However, 60% of those experiencing it do not get help, which puts both their lives and their babies' lives in danger. So it's very important that we raise awareness on this issue and get rid of the stigma around it for the well-being of our society. Thank you.
Happy World Health Day. Please be aware of the risks and symptoms of these health issues.
Do not postpone any checkups or medical appointments, because early diagnosis saves lives. And finally, do not forget, the greatest wealth is health.